What's up, guys? Welcome back to the TNT Business Podcast. I'm your host, KT Temple, and I'm here with my co-host, Kent, a very sad Kent Temple. He's sad today.
Well, so wait a minute before. Okay, two things. First, I want to apologize to KT. I was kind of hard on him last week. If you listened to last week's episode, so I was about to call him adopted, and then I realized who he looks like.
I know, man. Tough luck.
That's not gonna work. The second thing, this is funny. So KT and I typically do this on Monday afternoons, and you guys get it on Wednesday morning. And we actually postponed doing it on Monday afternoon, and we're doing it on Tuesday morning, so that because we want to be able to say that the USA beat Belgium yesterday. Because we're going to talk about the economic impact of the World Cup today. But not so much.
It was embarrassing.
It was bad.
It was really bad, man.
It was bad. It reminded. A couple of the goals we gave up looked like 11-year-old soccer.
I was about to say, I made those same mistakes when I played soccer.
It was a little ugly.
Yeah, man.
But anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And I don't even know that much about soccer, but I know when it's bad. That was rough, man.
Yeah.
Jess is now obsessed with the, Norwegian guy?
Yeah.
Oh, that's her new favorite person in the entire world, though.
Yeah, that's what somebody said. Somebody said that guy right now, they said he could have anything he wanted in Norway. I said, or who he wanted in Norway. Yeah, he's pretty much, the golden child. So anyway.
All right. So
thank our sponsor so we can start.
Yeah, guys. Before we get started, I do want to thank our sponsor, the Temple Team. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, you can find us at thetempleteam.com. We are located in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. We've got agents all the way from Statesville down to Fort Mill. And even if you're not looking in those areas, reach out to us. We never want you to end up with a bad real estate agent. Call us first. We've got an amazing network of agents all across the country who are trusted advisors in their community that you can reach out to us. We'll connect you with them. That way you're with somebody trusted and great who's going to help you with your real estate transaction. So again, when you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, find us at thetempleteam.com.
You're getting so much better now.
It's like I've been doing it for 2 years now. So, by the way, did you watch the videos I sent you? Did you get
I watched it all. So today we're going to talk about the economic impact of having the World Cup. But first, KT wants to talk about what a corrupt organization FIFA actually is.
Well, and I don't know a ton about it, man, but and I don't follow sports. Like, I only follow sports when they're really, really good or really, really bad. That's when I plug in, or the X Games is happening. That's when I show up to watch stuff on TV. I don't even have cable to go and watch this stuff. I have to show up we went to a bar yesterday to just go have a beer when we were on our bikes. I was like, why are people bringing their own chairs to this bar right now? And I realized they had a giant TV set up for the game. I had completely forgotten about it.
KT, it's funny. I was with a group of guys last night to watch the game, and they all are big soccer fans. And me, I'm the if the USA is playing, there's a big game. I like going live. I like to go into the FC Charlotte games. I'm not a huge soccer fan. And kind of jokingly, I said, Americans would tune in for this if you would take away offsides and just, fast break, get in front. Yeah, just let them go. And one guy who played college soccer said that's exactly what they should do in America, so that Americans would do it. Yeah. And I said, but then we wouldn't be competitive on the world stage. We'd almost be playing a different game. And there was some that change. He said all of soccer should change it. I said, here's why they're not. There's 8 billion people in the world, and 3.5 billion of them follow soccer.
Yeah.
It is the most popular sport think about that. Almost half the population follows soccer to some extent. That's how big it is worldwide. And that's why I was kidding when I said get rid of offsides. You should never do that. Don't change something that's not broken.
Yeah.
But so and the World Cup is it's like the comedian that you sent me the videos to watch. What's his name?
John Oliver.
Yeah, so KT, there's 3 videos that John Oliver did on the World Cup. They're all hilarious. But what John Oliver was talking about is that even as poorly as FIFA has done in terms of taking care of people in the places they go.
In the places they go, yeah.
Everybody still turns out. That's how popular this is. He said this. He said that the World Cup is like the Super Bowl, except the rest of the world cares about it.
Yeah, exactly right.
I said that's funny right there and true.
And I think they do a good like keeping it Olympic rules where it's every 4 years. I think that keeps that huge excitement. I mean, I'm sure you guys the best videos that Jess has been showing me on TikTok is like when Mexico adopted all the Japanese players when they were playing out
Yep.
there and just like, showing them a great time and getting to show off your country. I think it is an amazing thing that they get to do. And John Oliver was even saying like I know how bad all this I know what a corrupt system FIFA is, and I'm still so excited for it because it is the way they said it's a religion to so many people, and they will tell you
Yeah.
soccer is our religion here.
Yeah, one of the funny things he said when David Beckham got a tattoo of Jesus, it was a good day for Jesus.
Yeah, that was
It
big
really,
for
like,
Jesus.
upped his popularity. Yeah, it's a big day for like, but I mean, I get it. That's probably a poor joke, but it's actually
True.
pretty funny.
Yeah.
But two of so you talk about economics for a second, and you talked about they have the World Cup every 4 years. I'm going to tell you two very smart business decisions that were made. And the first one was made was, the Olympics, KT, there's Summer and Winter Olympics. When you were maybe when you were born, either way, when I was a kid at least, the Summer and Winter Olympics were the same year. And then somebody got smart and went, wait a minute, instead of once every 4 years, what if we did one of them every 2? And so it's every 2 years there's the Olympics now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. That was genius. Well, here's what they finally got smart and did in soccer is they started putting an emphasis on women's soccer.
Mm-hmm.
And so now the Women's World Cup will be in 2 years. And then 2 years after that, they'll have the men's. And then 2 years after that. So you get this deal. And the thing about women's soccer is a little bit like women's basketball. To me, women's professional basketball is a much purer sport. To me, women's basketball is the way basketball was supposed to be played. Men's basketball has turned in to just so physical. And it's the same in soccer. Women's soccer is played much more like it was meant to be played and not as physical as it was supposed to be. But those are just great business decisions to like, okay, why don't we make money every 2 years instead of every 4 years?
Yeah, every 4 years. Yeah, it's really interesting, like kind of going back to basketball. It's like watching the NBA play. And, when I grew up playing basketball and just like the traveling, for example, you could just get away with it in the NBA. They don't even call it anymore. That's just part of the game. And I think it's half Stephen Curry's fault. Like they were like, okay, if everyone's 3-point shooter, this is going to get really boring. We got to let them travel. Like,
no, it started way before that.
Yeah.
It actually started. But KT, back when you were when you were playing a lot of basketball, I don't know if you remember this, but I used to take you to see the Charlotte Sting play.
Yeah.
And it's the reason I took you there, and not that we didn't go see the Hornets play back then, but we went and saw the women's team play because I wanted these kids that were 10, 11, 12, 13-year-olds to see how basketball is played below the rim because none of y'all could play above the rim, which is where the NBA played.
Yeah.
I wanted you to see this is why you have to box out because you're not 6'11". This is why you have to set screens because you can't push people like they do in NBA. And that's why I took you guys to see it so you could see the way that basketball was truly meant to be played. And like I say, watching soccer, I kind of feel the same way. I do think that, by the way, if you get caught faking an injury, which happens 27 times a half in soccer, here's the new rule. If you get caught faking an injury, then you're not allowed to. Then you can't be fouled the rest of the game.
Well, dude,
they can kick you wherever they want to and fall down because you cried wolf already.
That's why I think you would really like the Norwegian guy because he doesn't do it. He is so like, and it's similar. Like his dad was like, "Don't you dare do that. Don't be a wimp. Like, come on, stay up. Why are you being a wimp?" And
so
he doesn't fake it like everybody else does.
All our listeners right now are wondering is like, okay, are they calling the Norwegian guy because they don't know his name?
I don't know his name, and I don't really know where he's at. So yes, he's the guy with the ponytail. Hans.
Yes, Hans from Norway. Yes, we're gonna.
Is that right?
Yeah, no, it's not. No, it's not. And but he is gonna be on next week's show with us.
Sick.
I mean, if you're gonna believe the lies, believe all of them.
Hey, Kit's turning this into a sports podcast this episode, and he's got the worst guest on ever, me, to help him out with
Yeah,
it.
this is true. This is true. Yeah, I'm a big sports fan. I have 3 sons. I got 0 sports fans. I mean, not, and it's a, and let me tell you, from when KT, KT's middle brother, the one right after him, is only 14 months younger than him. And I can remember when you were a baby, and mom would be taking care of Hunter, who was really a baby, and I would lay on the couch with you on my chest watching Sports Center.
Mhm.
What the hell happened
Yeah, dude.
in there?
You wanted it too much.
I just here's the, and
Yeah,
the
so
funny
now
thing is
he's got an anime watching nerd kid and then a
Yeah.
full on honky as the other one.
Yeah, Freddie in the woods all the time.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is growing up, and we have season tickets to Carolina Panthers. None of the kids ever wanted to go until they got adults, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
finally figured out they only go for the social aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
there you go.
can name a few Carolina Panthers players, but they haven't played in 10 years.
Yeah. All right, back to FIFA.
All right.
So, you want to talk about the economic impact? Are you ready for that?
Yeah, I only know a very little bit, and it's just from like the corruption things that I've seen about. And I think they did the right thing this year, where they didn't force any stadiums to be built for this.
Well, see, so here's the thing, KT, and what KT's talking about. When you go, if you're going to host a World Cup, you need 7 to 9 major stadiums.
Mhm.
Well, you go, like the last World Cup was hosted by Qatar. And Qatar has a population of, I think if you include all the immigrants, it's like 3 million people in the whole country. They didn't have any stadiums. They had to build them all. It was a huge, huge expense. They had to build over 100 hotels just to host the World Cup. That's why it makes a lot more sense for somebody like the U.S. because we did not have to. Well, all right, let's be clear.
North
So
America.
Mexico, U.S., and Canada all hosted together.
Yeah.
Now, in Canada, there were some major upgrades that had to be done to their stadiums. Okay, Mexico City, the same thing. In the U.S., we didn't do much. We've got a lot of brand new stadiums, which is where they're playing. That was a huge savings for us because the way it works, KT, if you host the World Cup, FIFA pretty much gets all that money. They're the ones making. You got to go make it on the backside through the economic impact. You do get some advertising off of TV, but FIFA gets most of the money. That's why it's not they're saying that the World Cup is going to bring in $41 billion globally.
Yeah.
But if FIFA gets all the money, but in the U.S., the U.S. should get about $17 billion added to the GDP. That's a significant number.
That's a huge deal. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean it's not as big. And they're saying that it would create over 800,000 jobs. Here's the thing: when I talk about creating 800,000 jobs, is that 800,000 forever, or is that 800,000 for the World Cup?
For the World Cup,
it's 800,000 for World Cup. Yeah, it's not gonna last. So we talk a lot about for a while now, we've had unemployment low and inflation high, and that's not the way it goes. They tend to kind of go together. If inflation is going up, unemployment goes up. Inflation comes down, unemployment goes down. They tend to move more in tandem, and they haven't been. Unemployment actually fell last month to 4.2%. It was 4.4 beginning of the year, then went to 4.3. Now it's 4.2. I really believe, KT, that's the World Cup impact right now.
0.2.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are employed now that might not be come September.
And as we've seen with these job reports, they get released and then they always get, it's
revised.
It's revised every single time, and it's not revised in a good way. At least that's what it's been for the
last few months. It has. But early in the year, there was 1 month that was way off. They way underreported, and it was up. A lot of people look more at the private payroll as a better indicator over the unemployment. Private payroll, though, has stayed pretty flat, which means unemployment, despite the fact that inflation is crushing us, has stayed pretty steady. But there is a definite impact for these cities that are hosting it in terms of people having jobs and the money coming in. Now, the other thing is how much are these people spending to host a World Cup?
Yeah.
Added security, things like that, and the benefits. So you can say, oh wow, well the people that hosted these 8 host cities across the U.S., they got the biggest push. Yeah, they did. But it's not like Charlotte didn't benefit because, by the way, Charlotte was one. I know Winston-Salem was one. They actually hosted a team. So you get the benefit of all that coming in while you're, hosting these teams. Now,
Well, and
there's other places that
I
probably
just want to
feel
say
zero.
real quick, we joke about soccer not being big in the United States. It's I think it's flipped. In the past 10 years, because of all the
Way
football
bigger.
clubs coming to Charlotte,
Way bigger. Oh, way
it
bigger.
is it like it's crazy in Charlotte to go to a Panthers game and feel the lack of energy, and then go to one of the football club games and the amount of support and the amount of energy. Even here in Austin, we are one of the worst teams in our division, whatever it is, whatever they call it here.
Here, this is KT and how much he knows about
I know
sports. And
very
yeah,
little.
in the league,
But
right?
I met a guy over the weekend with tattoos for the football club, that's their thing here. And now Austin's different than Charlotte, where they literally have no other competition. It's the only sport we have in Austin. But in Charlotte was the same thing, man. People are more stoked about the football clubs than any of the other sports that I'm talking to people.
Well, so in Charlotte, so here's what's going on in Charlotte. First off, is Charlotte has a huge number of people from other places. And soccer's a big deal to a lot of people. We've had success before we got a team. We've had success hosting international competitions before we got the team. So you have this built-in fan base that's just hungry for soccer. So that's number one. Then number two, Charlotte did a really good job of they have a good team.
Yeah.
Their first year in existence, I mean, they made the playoffs their very first year.
Well, and I was also
And
thinking
now
about,
and
UNC being a women's soccer school. Like that's what they were known as
powerhouse.
before. Yeah, before they became men's basketball. But we were a women's soccer school, so I didn't know if that had
Well,
something to do with it too.
Carolina won, I believe the Carolina's women's soccer team won 19 of the first 21 national championships.
Yeah.
Just something insane. And still a powerhouse. They're still top four and much more parity. Like as all sports mature, it happens. But building a winner. But what KT's saying, the Panthers, we're not, as in NFL standards, we're still not an old team. Only being 30 years old, still not an old team, and you don't have that diehard fan base. And last year we made the playoffs, but we were 8-9.
Yeah.
We hadn't made the playoffs in a decade since then. You've just had a long line of average or below average teams that don't get people excited. So what he's saying is, even though the stadium sold out on a football day, and on a soccer day, they close the upper deck and it's only the lower deck, it's much louder. There's much more energy in the stadium, and it's because
In the
of the
stadium
passion they have for soccer and the product you're putting on the field.
and around the city, man. The city becomes alive whenever the football club's playing.
So we have a women's professional team now who finished very first year out. They lost in the championship last year, and they play in a smaller stadium, Memorial. It's funny, KT. They play in a stadium that I played soccer in
Yeah, I
when I was in
know.
high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they sell it out, holds 10,000 people, and they're showing up and it's not the top women's league. It's down 2 levels from that, still showing up and people going, and that's just the passion around this game, and that's why economically it's just so important because of what it creates. Downtown Charlotte does well when FC Charlotte is in town playing.
Yep.
The bars do well, the hotels do well, the restaurants do well. It can be very viable for a city. I would like to know, we should have looked this up. You're talking about Austin. I bet you there's a huge economic impact when the F1 races in Austin. You haven't been there for that yet, have you? You haven't lived in Austin since when they had that race.
No, I
think.
have not, man. I can't wait.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the biggest thing, and I think the Olympics did something similar where they're looking at countries now that they don't have to force them to build, like they did in for the for the Brazil World Cup, where they
Yeah.
forced them to build was it a $2 billion
Well, KT,
stadium?
it's not. It's okay. So
That's now a
it's
parking
not
lot?
it's not that they force them to.
Yeah.
It's part of your bid process is you have to say, I'll do this if you give it to me because they want to have it.
Yeah.
They
were rioting in this. It was interesting to go back because the video is from 13 years ago to see what the vibe was in Brazil, and there were full on riots against the having the World Cup there when it's their favorite thing in the world. Yeah.
Yeah. But what's going to happen, and what you're already seeing it, like we said, this World Cup. Well, 3 countries hosted this World Cup:
Yeah.
U.S., Mexico, Canada. The next World Cup is Morocco, Portugal, and Spain. Again, they're spreading it out to
Makes
spread
sense.
out the infrastructure that you have to have,
Yeah.
right? And I think you're seeing that. You're gonna, and you're right, KT. You're gonna see that more and more because you can't go build 8, multi-billion-dollar stadiums that then, what KT's talking about Brazil is the stadiums they build, a lot of them just aren't even used anymore.
Oh,
They're
it was
basically just
never
going to.
it was never used again, I think. I think it
Yeah, they
became
knew
a
it wasn't.
parking lot
Yeah.
after the 4 games that they had there. It's now a parking lot, and it has been for 13 years. I don't think I tried to look up pictures of it to see what it looks like. It's still just sat there unused.
Yeah, just there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, any final thoughts? Anything we didn't talk about regarding it?
I think it's funny that we did a soccer episode before we did a football, basketball, baseball, episode.
Dude, we can have the
No, we're not.
let's have the
We're
Dennis
we're not.
Rodman episode and talk about, we can tie that to North Korea or something to make it economical for us.
I will say, so, we did talk about this, for KT's wife's 30th birthday, we took her on a cruise, and I did see one of, my favorite shirts I've ever seen. Do you remember what it was, KT?
No, which one?
Play like Jordan, party like
Yeah,
Rodman.
man. Dude.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
You have to be anything other. You can only play as Jordan because if you're anything else other than Jordan, people are going to think you're a psychopath. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. We'll be back again next week with another episode. If you found this interesting, please leave us a review, like it, share it with your friends. And thank you again to the Temple team. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, find us at thetempleteam.com. See you guys again next week.
And we didn't get in a fight this week.
I know, right? It's good.